What's going on, guys? JPP Duel here. Hope you guys are enjoying your Monday. And for today's matchup, we have an Adventurous Pranks versus an Eldlich with me as the prankster going first. Now, before the gameplay even starts, I'm going to take 1 second to tell you guys, if you guys liked my reaction video, let me know in the comment section below. My reaction video for the prank kids and how the ban list will affect the prank kids is coming out tomorrow. And if you guys like those kind of videos, do let me know in the comment section below if I should make more of those videos. Also, if you want me to go card by card on the ban list and break down how each card affects the meta and how it will affect going forward in the meta, which decks will be better, which decks will maybe fizzle out, do let me know about that in the comment section as well. So going on with the replay. I normal out my Roxy's, that was my only combo starter card in my hand, and I go towards my combo. Now as you guys see, I have Instant Fusion in my hand. That means we could go towards our totally awesome combo this turn itself. Combo extension, extremely useful, putting one Omni on the field, aside from the Adventure Omni if you had the Adventure pack in your hand. So to do the totally awesome combo, it's pretty straightforward. You go one card full combo. Just the fact that you cannot use Pandemonium throughout your combo. Pandemonium locks you into Prank Kids monsters only if you activate it. Meaning if you activate Pandemonium on your opponent's turn, and if you have Nib in your hand, and you're wondering why you cannot Nib your opponent, it's because again, Pandemonium locks you into Prank Kids monsters only. That's the reason why you cannot Nib your opponent after you activate Pandemonium on your opponent's turn or on your turn. So for this combo to go through, your last special on the field has to be Dropsies. And for Dropsies to come on the field as your last special, the card in the graveyard activated has to be your Roxy's or Lamsies, or in some bizarre scenario, you could do Fansies as well. Usually Fansies comes in the middle of the combo, but if you activate Fansies at the end, if you have Pranks or Panda in your hand, that's your call. So the last special has to be Dropsies. Another condition is that you need to have above 1000 life points. Instant Fusion burns you for 1000 life points. And the last condition is you need to have a copy of Dropsies in your graveyard. These three conditions have to be met to be able to go into Totally Awesome on your turn with the Instant Fusion. So we get Dropsies on field, we activate our Instant Fusion, go into Rocket Ride. We're going to tribute the Rocket Ride itself, pulling out a copy of Dropsies plus whatever monster you want from the graveyard, put it on the field. I usually go for Doodle-Doo because, as you guys know, Doodle-Doo, if it stays alive from your opponent's turn, you could activate it, tribute it, and get cards from your graveyard into your hand to do more stuff with after your opponent goes through his turn. So I usually put out a copy of Doodle-Doo and put it on the field. Then these two level 2 Aqua monsters go into our Totally Awesome. I set down my cards and end my turn. We had a Call by the Grave in our hand, so I set it down as well. Set down Pandemonium, have 2 Ash Blossoms in my hand. We activate our Pranks Recycle 3 cards. Now, keep in mind, as you guys saw what I recycled, with the Totally Awesome combo, if you do it the way I do it, you are forced to recycle these 3 cards. You cannot recycle anything aside from these 3 cards if you want to Butler Pop on your opponent's turn. So if you guys will see in my graveyard, I have 2 cards I require for the Butler combo in the graveyard, plus the Meow Moo for getting 2 Butler Pops on my opponent's turn. So we get that, and I bizarrely draw into another copy of Ash Blossom. Now, you guys have seen my deck list. I insist on running 2 copies of Ash, 2 copies of Maxi, but I've been messing around with my deck list in this specific meta. So I'm adding DD Crow, I'm adding 3 copies of Ash Blossom because again, it is a 50% plus Despia players on the ladder. So Ash Blossom is an extremely crucial card you need, and you have to be able to resolve that so that your opponent cannot put the full Mirror Jade combo from one branded fusion on the field. Also, DD Crow allows you to make your opponent's branded in rare and fizzle out. Again, I'm messing around with my deck list, see which one lands, which one doesn't, so I'll go into that in a later video. So we have 3 Ash Blossoms in our hand. I activate the Battle Bark on my opponent's turn, target 2 cards I need for the Butler combo, put them in my hand. Now, in my turn, the opponent did not activate any sort of hand traps. his side of the field never got highlighted. So he could be holding the activation off, or he could be playing a back row set. Now, if your opponent does not activate any hand traps, the chances of them playing back row set do go up pretty high. So always assume they might be playing back row set, and if they don't do any hand traps, you might want to consider going into a full 2-card combo or use Instant Fusion for combo extension to go into your copy of Roaster on the field and end your turn. I did not do that. I went towards my Omni, which is totally awesome. So my opponent activates the Adventure from his hand. He gets the copy of the right. I don't Ash Blossom that. Then he activates a Pot of P. Obviously, I am going to activate Ash Blossom to this. I do not want my opponent getting a card search from the 6 off and adding it to his hand. I was rather skeptical about this. Then he shows me he's playing Adventure Eldlich. So he activates the Eldlich of Black Awakening, putting the Golden Lord on the field and face up defense. I chose not to use my Totally Awesome Negate on this because I wanted to save my Totally Awesome Negate for my turn. Now usually if these guys have Lava Golem or anything, they would use Lava Golem or a Kaiju on your Totally Awesome and get it off of the field instantly. They will not allow you to keep this card on the field. So at this point I assumed my opponent did not have Lava Golem or Kaiju in his hand, which proved to be a right assumption. So I'm saving my Omni for some sort of floodgate he might activate on my turn. That's the only reason I'm saving my Omni on the field right now. Then he sets down 2 cards. He tries to end his turn, so obviously I use Pandemonium, go into my Weather Washer. Now I have been extremely vocal about this in all of my videos. If you guys are ever, and I mean ever, playing against a back row set deck, Butler is the worst choice you can go into. Your best options are your Weather Washer and Roaster on your turn, but Weather Washer is the best one on your opponent's turn if you're playing against back row set. Because Weather Washer has the effect of your opponent not being able to activate back row set when you attack with Prank its cards while it is face up on the field and not negated. Also, you could activate this card and then you could either tribute itself or target the Meowmoo in the graveyard, banish it, to pull 2 cards from the graveyard and put them on the field. These 2 cards generally are your Doodle-Doo and your Bow Wow Bark, which translate into more material for you to use on your next turn. Also, if I had not gone into Totally Awesome on my previous turn, with the Weather Washer coming on the field and me getting my graveyard activations, which are my Fansies and my Lampsies, I would be putting 2 copies of Dropsies on the field. That way, if my opponent activates Goes a Match All Rivalry, I would still have materials on the field to work with, because the Dropsies, the Totally Awesome, and the Weather Washer plus the Roaster, if you guys are not running Roaster, you should, they're all Aqua type and Water attribute. So Goes a Match and Rivalry do not kill those cards. You could still play with that if they have those floodgates on the field. So I activate those cards, pull out a copy of Lampsies, put it on the field just to get more burn on my opponent in the next turn. Special out a copy of Dropsies. So this is my field counter in case my opponent activates Goes a Match or Rivalry. So I would still have Aqua monsters on the field, or if I chose to keep the Fire Pyro type, I could still keep these 2 cards on the field, right? So I still had more plays I could have made, even if my opponent floodgates me. Now on my draw phase, we draw into a copy of our Nemesis Flag. This is an extremely insane top deck at this point, and I'll tell you guys why once I go into my combo of showing you guys what I do. So first of all, we activate our Doodle-Doo, target the Panday plus Fansies, add them to our hand. This way, I could still go into my Butler if I want to right now. I have all the cards that are required for the Butler combo on the field plus in my hand. So even if my opponent activates, let's say a Goes a Match, which I use Totally Awesome to negate, and negates my Totally Awesome, I would end up keeping something on the field that I can instantly put away in this turn itself. So we link off all the cards on the field, the Prank Kids cards on the field, to go off into my Roaster. I deliberated on this move for a while when I was playing this game, but I decided to do it anyways. So Roaster, once it's put on the field, my opponent has to respond with something, which he does, which is There Can Be Only One. He activates that. Now, prank kits usually can play under there can be only one because this card states your opponent can only control one type of each monster, but in this specific situation, we had three monsters of the same type, which is the Aqua. So on the chain activation of there can be only one, I just used my roaster to pop my opponent's back row. Obviously, we are going to be doing that anyways. This roaster was just to bait out my opponent's back row. The second card he had set on the field turned out to be a Scarlet Sanguine, to which we instantly use Ash Blossom and negate. Now, I was so thankful for drawing into 3 of my Ash Blossoms at this point, because I used 1 Ash on the opponent's turn, 1 Ash on my turn. Just perfect. So back row gets wiped, the there can be only one never resolves. That means we get to keep our Aquas on the field. With the Lamseeds, I put copy of Roxy's on the field. Then I activate the flag from my hand, recycle the Meowmoo that I had in the banishment pile, put it on the field. Flag activates, searches for the corridor, then I link off into my Meowmoo using my Roxy's. This is extremely important to keep in mind, because I do not want to use up my normal summon to put corridor on the field. I would rather use the Roxy's effect, banish a monster from my hand, so that way I could put the corridor on the field by recycling the banished monster. In this case, it was the Ash Blossom. I even draw into a Foolish Burial. Now this would have been a full adventure combo in and of itself, but at this point I don't know if you guys realize I don't have enough space on the board to do everything. This is a guaranteed lethal on my opponent's turn. So we get the corridor on the field, then I link off the Meowmoo plus the Fansies, go into my copy of Doodle-Doo, activate Fansies, chain block with Doodle-Doo. This Doodle-Doo I believe will search me for a copy of Prank Kid's Place, and we send one monster with the Fansies to the grave, special out a card on the field. Link off into our copy of Nightmare. Nightmare will be bouncing the Eldlich, and that would just have been game right here. Even if this guy had a nib in his hand, I still had a way to negate the nib, and if this Omni goes off of the field, I still have a way to put another Omni on the field. I still had Colossus coming in, I still could have got into hit a Celine combo, I could have done a bunch of things with the cards I had in my hand. So seeing this, my opponent just instantly scoops. That's going to be it for today's game, guys. If you guys do enjoy this kind of videos, please consider hitting the like button, subbing to my channel for more daily prank and video uploads. If you guys are interested in the live version of all of this, I do live stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/jpbduel. Link along with my schedule and a link to my Discord will be in the video description itself for you guys to check out. This is JPBduel signing off for today. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace!